Thank you for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. 100 days to the start of hurricane season, which is June 1st. And sometimes you get stuff earlier. Now, it's also nice not to talk about the hurricane season this time of year, but the weather's not all sunshine and rainbows at times. It should also be comforting to know that behind the scenes, I'm watching this stuff in advance of the hurricane season, and I do always like to let you know kind of what I'm seeing as we get closer. So not always something we like to talk about, but something we need to at times. So hopefully that is comforting to know that I'm watching all of this stuff nonstop. Now, watching the water temperatures as we get closer to the hurricane season. Right now, 27 degrees Celsius near Haiti, the Dominican Republic, much of the Caribbean, 81 degrees Fahrenheit, some upper 50s, low 60s, parts of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Panhandle of Florida, where those numbers dropped off because there was that big snow event last month. So some colder weather in some spots. Now, I look at those water temperatures. What do they mean for this time of year? Well, for the most part, they are running above average. So water temperatures, you see this kind of orangey shading, and that encompasses most of us running above average. So as we lead into the hurricane season, it looks like the water temperatures will be a little bit above where they typically are, or above average. With that said, the water temperatures, the warm water, that's what fuels tropical storms and hurricanes. But that's just one ingredient. There are so many ingredients out there. The Saharan dust, sometimes that plays a big factor in the hurricane season. So as we get closer, that'll be something else I'll be watching. But you see, as we get into the open waters of the Atlantic as well, off the coast of Africa, it is a little bit cooler than average. That's going to be a trend I'll watch later in the hurricane season. As we get deeper into the hurricane season later in July, August, September, that's when you get the just the global weather pattern drawing in some of the moisture off of the coast of Africa. So it'll be a little bit more critical later in the season. Earlier in the season, though, we look closer to home for development, even with some old fronts, and that's where we have those water temperatures that are running above average. I mentioned the water temperatures are just one ingredient. That adds the fuel to what's going on, so that's kind of at the surface. Well, what's going on above it? This here is a look ahead. This here is May, and you see here across the Caribbean and parts of the Atlantic, right in through here, this green shading in here is saying, hey, the atmosphere is going to have more moisture than typical, so above average rain chances. Does that mean we're going to get a hurricane or a tropical storm before June 1st? Not necessarily, but it does mean some of the ingredients are in place. We're most likely going to have above average water temperatures that I just showed you and some extra moisture around. Now, that could be a good thing too, having some extra rain. Some of us have been too dry. Maybe we could, add in some rain where we need it. But if anything does organize, that would be a concern. There is a slight chance of a little development before the start of the hurricane season, just based on a couple of these things that I'm seeing. Water temperatures being warm and seeing how the atmosphere is going to have a little more moisture in it. So a couple ingredients in place that are not necessarily in our favor as we get into May and then eventually into June to start the hurricane season. But know that I'm watching that because last year, of course, we had the early season. It was later in June and then early July. Hurricane Beryl, of course. We weren't waiting until August and September for big hurricanes last season. So that's why behind the scenes, even this time of year, I'm watching stuff. Again, 100 days away from the start of hurricane season. All right, let's switch to something more pleasant. We are seeing some nicer weather through parts of the Caribbean today. Watching out for some areas of rain, though, that are going to build near Guyana and Suriname. And then you get back through Costa Rica, Panama. Look at that surge of moisture. This is it coming out of the Pacific back through Mexico. That was that spot that I was watching. Now, we have an old front that is zooming by the Bahamas. Boy, a lot of us are waking up to much colder air as expected. We talked about that right across parts of the northern Caribbean, mainly north of Jamaica, and then right up through Florida and the southeast United States. You see this front that just cleared Bermuda that brought in that shot of some colder weather. That's why we have that colder air in place right now in the Bahamas, parts of Cuba as well. But if you look back behind it, look at that kind of feed of cloud cover, that moisture that's building right there. That's going to be that weekend storm system and another big storm system system, parts of the west coast of the United States, and as we get into British Columbia and Canada. Now, here's that front that moved by, so there's some of that colder air that has moved in with the winds coming down out of the north. So starting big picture, and then I'll zoom down here. Now, as we get into the upcoming weekend, there's that moisture right there building that I was just talking about. You see over toward Louisiana, good bit of rain that will be moving in. Some of us getting rain, others not so much. The leftover front right there, here's that rain building there, and then you could see back toward the Pacific Northwest of the United States, watching that area right there of heavy rain and higher terrain snow that's moving in. But a few pockets of rain to watch, still near the Bahamas. And then as we go through the weekend, Sunday into Monday, you can see how that rain kind of pulls its way closer to Florida, Cuba, right on the edge of the Cayman Islands, and then back through the northern Bahamas. So an active period with some of that rain, not as much for us in the Caribbean, but then even as we get into Tuesday, you can see some of that rain that's going to still be around. And this front is going to stretch right down near Jamaica by the time we get into a Tuesday morning, for example. So slightly cooler air again in the northern Caribbean. And then as we go deeper out in time here, this is as we get into late next week. So we're looking at a week from now. We're going to see this front just kind of scraping by parts of the northern Caribbean, a little bit of snow over toward parts of the mid-Atlantic, northeast United States, but some cooler air again once as we get into the end of the week, moving in behind the front as that front drapes down all the way through the northern Caribbean. That there is about a week from now. Let's get a closer perspective on what's going on. So here's Florida, Bahamas with that colder air over toward Cuba with that front that has moved in right on the edge of the Cayman Islands and Jamaica. Spotty showers, St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana and Suriname watching rain, then a pocket of rain, Costa Rica, Panama. And with this moisture building, parts of Guatemala, Belize, parts of Mexico, Honduras, watching out for some of those scattered showers as we go throughout the day. And then as we get into Saturday, you can see the rain starting to build. Here's the old front right here with a chance of a couple showers around, but that moisture across Central America builds and lifts its way right up to the north. So as we work our way from Saturday into Sunday, this here is Sunday, you see some scattered showers, northern sections, some of those scattered showers. But once we get into early next week, that's when more of the action will be on the move. Florida Keys, for example, right through the northern Bahamas. This is Monday with that higher chance of rain as we get into Sunday and Monday as it slides closer to Florida and the Bahamas. Now for today, still some snow showers, some snow possible this morning over toward the Avalon Peninsula, for example, and still some snow showers once we get into the afternoon, but that front will have cleared. It's moved away from Bermuda, so just that shot of some chillier air moving in for the weekend for the Atlantic region of Canada, the northeast United States, and then watching that rain building near the southeastern United States Sunday into Monday. Seas, everything stays pretty choppy for the most part, which is generally common for this time of year. A little bit higher today near Bermuda with that front that is sliding by. This here is for tomorrow. And where you see the pockets of green, that's where we're looking over 2 meters or about 6, 7, 8 feet in spots, and just keeping an eye on some of those northern passageways to the Atlantic with that front moving by near Puerto Rico, U.S. British Virgin Islands, and to the north. That's where those seas are going to be on the elevated side. So as far as rain goes, the next couple of days, most of it you can see back toward Louisiana right here. Eventually by Monday and Tuesday we'll see a better chance of rain in the Bahamas. Until then, most spots that we're looking at are less than an inch or 25 millimeters of some rain. Jamaica, we may catch a couple showers the next few days, especially our eastern end. Better chance of getting some rain, may get some showers over toward Kingston, and then just spotty Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Barts, St. Croix, over toward Tortola, Dominica, a couple showers, and then to the south, not as much until we get to Trinidad. Trinidad, better chance of rain, and then swinging back towards Suriname and Guyana, still that elevated chance of rain. And we can get some totals in parts of Central America of about 75 millimeters of rain or 3 inches of rain. Parts of Panama, for example, keeping an eye on some of the rain near Belize and Honduras and the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico and Mexico proper as we work our way over the next few days. as that moisture from the Pacific lifts up to the north, and that means a better chance of rain in Mexico City, but this extra rain will work its way off toward the east. You see in Louisiana as we go through the weekend, looking at spots right around 3 inches of rain. That's going to be a possibility, central and mainly southern parts of Louisiana. So 40 and even 50% chance of rain by Sunday. I mentioned that elevated chance in Jamaica, eastern end, we're looking at a better chance, 30% chance across the Cayman Islands. Rain chance about 40%. That's going to hold the next 2 days. Scattered showers possible across Trinidad. But as we get to the north, you see rain chance today only 20% in Barbados and just about a 20, maybe 30% chance through the weekend in St. Lucia, Grenada, that 20% chance. And a 20% chance St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That's why I mentioned Trinidad and Tobago south. That's where there's a better chance of some rain. See a 30% chance in Martinique. And as we get over toward Dominica, rain chance 30% chance the next couple of days in Dominica by the time we get into Sunday. About a 20% chance, 40% chance in Guadeloupe, 30% chance on Saturday, 20% chance of a passing shower today in Antigua, Barbuda. Rain chance a little higher tomorrow. St. Kitts, Nevis, and Montserrat bumping up to about a 40% chance. We do that again in Guil and St. Bart's. Couple showers. That's because there's that front just to the north. So a few more showers may be possible. St. Martin, Saba, and Statia this weekend. A 40% chance. Isolated 30% chance as we work our way to Puerto Rico. 20 to 30% chance of a passing shower as we swing back toward the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Now, Bahamas later on Sunday and then in particular Monday and Tuesday. That's when that rain chance will be higher. Bumps up a notch as well with that old front 30, 40% chance. Dominican Republic swinging back toward the Turks and Caicos. Isolated shower this weekend, 30% chance in Haiti. We get back through Belize, it stays active. Scattered showers. Keep me posted in the comments about a 50% chance. Aruba, rain chance stays low, 20% chance, 20% chance today. Curacao and Bonaire, about a 30% chance by tomorrow. And we'll look at that 40% chance in Guyana, but it will be a little higher as we work our way to the east as we get back towards Suriname, up to a 50% chance of rain tomorrow. Cuba, just with that front sliding by today and that new area developing as we get into the weekend, 40 to 50% chance of rain. About a 50% chance of rain Costa Rica and Panama, a little higher in Panama, Nicaragua, 40 to 50% chance. And there's that 50% chance right through the weekend, including the islands. You get over toward Roatan and Providencia, San Andres, Corn Islands. Some scattered showers will be possible. Get back through Guatemala and El Salvador. Eastern sections, better chance of some rain. 40% chance, though, tomorrow in Mexico City. 40% chance, maybe even a little higher in parts of the Yucatan Peninsula and Merida. We could catch a couple of these showers. Northern Colombia, rain chance stays low. 30% chance in northern Venezuela. And today in Bermuda, that front just cleared by. So we have some colder weather that is in place. So rain building, and it'll be on the move this weekend. Could see some isolated areas of flooding, especially the next week. We may get a little of that extra water around in parts of the Bahamas. We have cooler air, colder air in place in our northern sections. I was highlighting that earlier. And overall, it's going to be very active. These systems continue to roll in even to the west coast of the United States, and that moisture from the Pacific that will be building in. And throughout the weekend, I'll be monitoring that earthquake activity. I covered a lot of that a couple videos ago. So thank you for subscribing to this channel. Keep you posted on everything. Have a great day ahead.